By the end of this video, you'll be able to efficiently manage context when working with Claude on large code bases, ensuring it stays focused on the task at hand. This skill is crucial for maximizing productivity and accuracy when leveraging Claude's capabilities. You've likely experienced it before, poring over a massive code base, trying to get Claude to understand the specific requirements of your project, only to have it get sidetracked or lose focus. This happens because Claude, like any other AI model, relies on the context you provide to make informed decisions. When working with huge code bases, managing this context is key to getting the most out of Claude. You'll learn how to do this by using specific techniques and tools, such as configuring the Claude.md file and utilizing subagents. These tools will help you filter out irrelevant information, prioritize important tasks, and keep Claude on track. With efficient context management, you'll be able to tackle even the most complex projects with confidence. So, let's get started with the basics of context management and how it applies to your work with Claude. Your first step will be to review your current Claude setup and identify areas where context management can be improved. So go ahead and open up your Claude.md file now. Vocabulary, configuration, productivity, subagents, accuracy. By the end of this, you'll be able to set up your environment for effective context management with Claude. To get started, you need Claude Code set up on your machine. If you haven't already, download and install it from the official Anthropic website. Once installed, open Claude Code and take a look around. You'll see a straightforward interface designed to help you work efficiently with Claude. Next, you want to familiarize yourself with the Claude.md documentation. This is crucial because it provides guidelines on how to manage context effectively, which is key to keeping Claude focused on your huge code base. Open a web browser and navigate to the Claude.md page. Take some time to read through the sections on context management. It's not a lot of reading, but it's essential for understanding how Claude works with large code bases. As you read, pay special attention to the sections on subagents and hooks, as these are particularly useful for managing context. You'll learn how to use them to narrow down the scope of what Claude is looking at, which will help prevent it from getting overwhelmed by the size of your codebase. With Claude Code installed and the Claude.md documentation under your belt, you're ready to start managing context like a pro. Your next step is to open the Claude.md documentation and start reading the context management section. Go ahead and do that now. By the end of this, you'll be able to keep Claude focused on the parts of your huge codebase that matter. You've got your environment set up. Now it's time to manage context. Imagine you're working on a massive project with thousands of lines of code. You need to guide Claude to the specific areas you care about. To do this, you'll use specific commands and prompts in Claude Code. Let's start with the #delimiter. This simple delimiter allows you to separate tasks or sections within your code, making it clear to Claude where one task ends and another begins. For example, if you're working on a feature that involves both front-end and back-end changes, you can use ## to separate the two sections, ensuring Claude processes them independently. Another powerful tool is the stop command. This command tells Claude to stop processing at a specific point, preventing it from getting bogged down in unnecessary code. By using stop, you can prevent Claude from analyzing entire directories or files that aren't relevant to your current task. To see this in action, try creating a new file in your project, add some code, and then use the #delimiter to separate it into sections. Then, use the stop command to limit Claude's processing. With these commands, you'll be able to keep Claude focused on the parts of your codebase that need attention. Now, go ahead and try using the #delimiter and stop command in your own project to see how they can improve your workflow. By the end of this, you'll be able to efficiently manage Claude's context in a large codebase. Let's say you're working on a massive project with thousands of files, and you need Claude to focus on a specific module, like a complex algorithm implementation. You've tried giving Claude the entire codebase, but it's just too much. The responses are slow and not relevant. To tackle this, you'll use the techniques we've covered so far. First, create a new file. Let's call it context.md, where you'll define the context for Claude. In this file, you'll include the specific module you want Claude to focus on, along with any relevant documentation or comments. Next, You'll use the Claude.md file to specify the context for the entire project. You'll add a line like context.md to tell Claude where to find a context definition. Now, when you ask Claude a question or provide a prompt, it will use the context defined in context.md to give you a more accurate and relevant response. This significantly improves your workflow efficiency, as you're not wasting time waiting for Claude to sift through the entire codebase. To see this in action, try creating your own context.md file and specifying it in your Claude.md. Then, ask Claude a question related to the specific module you defined in the context. By the end of this, you'll be able to review Claude's output and adjust your context management strategy for better results. You've implemented context management techniques in your huge codebase, and now it's time to see how Claude's output has improved. Open up your Claude.md file and take a look at the responses you've gotten so far. Notice how Claude's answers are more relevant and accurate? That's because you've given Claude the context it needs to understand your code. Now, let's review the results together. Look for areas where Claude is still struggling to provide accurate answers. Check if there are any gaps in your context that might be causing the issues. Maybe you need to add more details about a specific function or module. To adjust your strategy, go back to your MCP server and update your context configuration. You can add or remove files, modify your hooks, or even create new subagents to handle specific tasks. The key is to continuously refine your context management approach based on the results you're seeing. For example, if you notice Claude is having trouble with a particular section of code, you can create a new subagent specifically for that section. This will help Claude focus on the relevant context and provide more accurate answers. By reviewing the results and adjusting your strategy, you'll be able to fine-tune your collaboration with Claude and get the most out of its capabilities. So, go ahead and try updating your context configuration now and see how it improves Claude's output. By the end of this, you'll be able to keep Claude focused on your huge codebase with confidence. You've seen how context management tips can make a big difference in your workflow with Claude. Now, it's time to apply these tips to your current project. Open your Claude.md file and take a look at the structure. To separate your next task, add a #delimiter. This will help Claude understand the context of your question. For example, if you're working on a feature, you can add #feature development and then describe the task you want Claude to focus on. Once you've added the delimiter, prompt Claude with a focused question related to your task. See how Claude responds. You should notice a significant difference in the relevance of the response. Try it out right now. Open your Claude.md file, add that delimiter, and ask Claude a specific question about your next task. You can find all the code and workflows from this video in our Claude Lab repository, linked in the description below. If you want to see more practical tips on working with Claude, be sure to subscribe to our channel for new videos every week.